When we first met, it was when Dave, do you remember this?
Of course.
When like Dave brought you to set and was like, who do you think he's going to be, Katee? And I was like, Dave, stop it. Stop it.
Oh, wow.
We've been here before, Dave. And I was so excited that you were joining this universe. I was so excited. Did you know when Dave brought you to set? Well, let's start with, how did the role of Ezra come to you? Did you know Clone Wars? Did you know Dave ahead of time? Like, walk me through that process, because that's crazy.
Yeah, so I didn't know Clone Wars or Rebels, and I had only really ever seen Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars films. And I was online and something came up about someone playing Space Aladdin. And I saw that and was like, what? I should play Space Aladdin. Anyone should play Space Aladdin. Didn't know what that meant or anything, but just off of that. And I look it up and it's Ezra. And so they're talking about who should play Ezra. I'm like, what is this, Ezra? And then there's a picture by Pandora Young Art, and it's this older version she made of what Ezra would look like when he came back from being, cast away in Peridia. And it looked like me, kind of. So I was like, wait, this is cool. What is this all about? So I go look it up. I watch a little bit of Rebels. And then I get this like interesting, intuitive feeling and kind of have like this dialogue, it feels like, with a Force Ghost version of Ezra in my living room. I'm kind of like, okay, what's going on? And Ezra's like, what's up, man? I'd love to come through you and be in your world. And I'm like, all right, this is so weird. But I'm down. You're a Jedi. I'm down. So I say yes to Ezra, and the intuition then tells me to send like these photos of me and Ezra side by side and send it to my agents and managers. And I told them like, hey, when this is casting, I'm going to play this character. So use these photos. And they're all kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, are you talking about Star Wars? Like, and is this an animation or are you going to be a live action? Like, what is this? And I don't really explain anything, and except my manager calls me and is like, what's going on? I'm like, this is one of those like spiritual things, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. And he was like, all right, man, I trust you. And also I hope it happens because he grew up on Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so 6 months later, I get the anonymous audition while I'm doing a different film, and within a couple of days was offered the role, and definitely felt like very connected to Ezra when that audition came back again. It was like, oh, Ezra, what's up? You're back. And so didn't know anything about it actually before that picture. And then nothing beyond that, even like my intuition said to just leave it at that, not to dive in and like start obsessing or anything about it. It was just like, it'll come when it's time, and then I'll know when to jump in. And then that's how it all came together.
Did you audition for Dave?
I did a self-tape anonymously, like the sides that are from something else. That was all.
Yeah, exactly. Where they don't even tell you what it is.
Right. Just one tape.
So you auditioned on tape.
Uh-huh.
And that was it.
That was it.
God, that's amazing.
I know. It's like, I feel like every actor's dream way to get a role is just as soon as they see you, they know it's you and they trust that you could do it. And there's no, hoops to jump through, no
100%.
Triple approval, nothing. And that's how I heard that's how studios cast for things. I asked my manager when I first moved to LA, 2018, like, how do you get a TV show? How do you get a movie? What are the different ways to book? Not that I didn't have some understanding of it in Austin, but just at this level.
Yeah.
And he was like, studio approval, all that stuff could be like a months long process sometimes. And you're going through so many callbacks and chem reads and screen tests and da. I was like, does anyone ever just book it first thing? He was like, no. I was like, never? He was like, I mean, it's happened, but it's like a miracle.
It does. To a certain extent, it does. Like I remember every audition that I've ever booked from like the beginning of my career, I knew as soon as I was done with it that it was mine, 100%.
Wow.
Now, whether or not that would come to fruition was another thing, but I would always walk out and I would always say, because you inhabit a character, when you know you're tapped into a character, when you know the people in the room have been moved, when you feel that, it's unlike anything else. I can't even explain it. And I would always walk out and I'd say, it's mine. I promise you it's mine. And every single time I've been right. Every single time. And so, you know, there's definitely been, I don't know if I've ever booked anything, just one, maybe I'm sure I have. I think I booked Riddick with like one audition. I think. But like, you never, you know, they do, every once in a while they do know. And Dave is very much like that. Dave knows. Dave knows, and Dave is not swayed, you know, and especially with the characters that he created, the characters that he loves, the ones that came from his heart and his brain and he's lived, he knows what he wants. And so it doesn't surprise me. I just think it's crazy that it actually happened.